India's Nifty 50 is the main stock market of that country, and it's been one of my favourites to trade for the last decade or so. Lots of day trading opportunities, longer term trading opportunities for you there. And looking at the fundamentals, looking at that sort of geopolitical outlook for the country, I think it's looking more positive. And we're going to have a look at the charts to see where things are heading. But I'm thinking the latter parts of this year and into next year could be very strong for the Indian economy and the Nifty 50. I'm going to show you wherever you are in the world how you can trade the Nifty 50. I'm going to dig into the charts, come up with a few numbers for you and see where they are heading next. So with that, let's take a look at the analysis. So straight into the technical analysis, the weekly line chart for the Nifty 50, and the takeaways. What can we see going on here? Well, we can see that nice growth over 5 years, from 4 or 5 years from 2016, then the plunge down to the sort of the start really of COVID when it kicked in, and then we've seen this big long rally all the way up, nearly over 118% to 18,500. So an interesting pattern building out there, because you could also maybe call that like a flag pattern, and if that's the case, you would take the rules of technical analysis like that flagpole and add it on up there, so you got a real big potential move to the upside. But I'll be looking for the breakout above here to first of all deal with these longer term Fibonacci numbers and the downside support. We've got this yellow block area that I've coloured in where there's been a lot of price noise, and we've got the trend line coming up here. So downside support 15,500, 15,600 maybe, and then breaks there mid 14,000s, and we've got a lot of price action kicking off, price volume at this price level where that nice run up, slow growth, steady growth kicked in. So interesting pattern, and I would call that almost a bullish setup play waiting to happen in the sort of medium to longer term. Now if you are more short term, 4-line break charts got a couple of buy numbers in for you at 17,500 and 17,550, a bit more aggressive entry. Great for reversals, this chart type, and we've got the call in there around this sort of area as a potential short-term buy-in. And into the daily Heikin-Ashi chart, signals, what are they telling us? It's looking a bit sort of neutral, I think, in this world at the moment. Volatility pretty low, 15%. That's not much for a stock index, and even when it gets excitable, maybe 30, 32 as a upper number. Volume also not doing anything spectacular at the moment. You can see actually if you go back over time where the volume was, it has come down from the last year, and that probably reflected in that more sideways price range. Now the blue and the reddish areas that you can see here, that's a 2 standard deviation regression trend, and you can see how nicely that the price bounces up and pings down to them. So you could call at the moment the price action in the lower half of the 2 standard deviation regression trend, which can be bullish and bearish, because breakout under here and we could see the price move on down, but often, like I said, uses that bottom line for support and a bounce on back, and we got a sell signal in the short term in the 2 pink line box breakout setup. So maybe a little run down to the 16,600s and then a bounce up, we will see. So for the real short term price action, using a 40 block size on the Nifty here, and what can we see? Well, we've got signals all looking pretty reasonably bullish actually, not too bad there. Stochastics just warming up to the upside. We can see that trend up from sort of mid-June, and then sort of bit of sideways action, maybe a bit of consolidation there in the price. Now in terms of targets to the upside, where it's got to get through those recent highs, and we could be talking 18,900, 19,800, then really pushing on if it does take off to 21, 22,000. If it sort of fails in this area around that sort of 16,800, 16,900 support zone, then 16.3, 15.3 and 14.5 could be those, you know, potential targets to the downside. But we've seen the other charts not looking too bad, definitely looking like they're warming up or at least consolidating. So with that, let's give the Nifty a score. Now for the Nifty, based on the technicals, I'm going weak bullish overall. Renko in the short term much stronger than the Heikin Ashi, which is a bit of over longer period of time. Looks more consolidating in nature. Now I'm going to take you back to that weekly chart. I really like that, you call it flag or pennant pattern that was building out, and that's certainly one to watch to the upside for that breakout. Now if you are more aggressive, 4-line break chart, top right hand corner, a couple of numbers for you there, 17.5, 17,550. Like we said, the Heikin Ashi, bit of a mixed bag at the moment compared to the Renko, and then into the targets, 3.5 to 1 and 6 to 1 to the upside, 2.29 and 3.29 to the downside. But overall I'm going for a weak bullish score. Now I did mention in the introduction that I would show you where, you know, from wherever you are in the world, how you can trade the Nifty 50 index. Now I've jumped into my broker Tiger Brokers. If you go up to market and then hit the futures button, you can see all these different types of futures, and I'm in the all futures here. I'm just going to scroll down just to show how many you can play around with. But if we get down to N, we got the Nifty Indices. Double click on them. There's the market that we like. Let's see how expensive it is to trade. Into the contract, and you need about $2,000 to trade one future. Value probably of a contract $36,000. So that's some good leverage there. Now if you can't access the futures, or you don't want to trade them because they're a bit too expensive, then why do you not consider CFDs or spread bets? They're available to pretty much the rest of the world outside of the States. So in the States you've got these futures here, as you have really the rest of the world. But you can also, you know, if you're non-US based, trade CFDs and spread bets. So you've got a lot of options there, and you're going to get leverage on all of those, and you know, you're going to be able to go long or short depending on your point of view. But like I said, it's going to give you access and you can get some exposure. So links to Tiger Brokers in the description below. So we've had a look at the Nifty, and I think it's, you know, looking quite promising fundamentally and technically. Let me know in those comments below whether you trade it and where you think it might be heading next. Love to hear from you, and if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons, and all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching. Good luck with the trading. I'll see you in the next video.